Hey guys! Well, as we all know by now, I'm not exactly techno savvy when it comes to creating videos. So here we are. This is part 2 of the video on the 911 call. Though I probably shouldn't title these videos the 911 call because we don't even know if the call was made to the emergency line, right? Interesting, isn't it? Wondering when the call was actually made or how many calls were made and who made the calls to the police department. Wondering what was said and if the first call was actually made around 8:30 or 9 in the morning, as we know the call taker originally said it was, before changing evidently to say that it was placed a few hours later. If the call actually was made between 8:30 and 9, why? Because remember, the excuse was that there was a doctor appointment that had been missed. Did the person making that first call have a special phone number they were supposed to use? If they became concerned, if they couldn't find Christopher Watt's wife? What is it that the police department was told that would have caused them to go to the house? And if their reason for going was some sort of a diabetic fear, then why didn't they break the door down as soon as they got there? Could it be that they received a call saying that Christopher Watt's wife was evidently alone with the children and they didn't know where she was? Could it be that the police responded in order to locate the children and make sure they were safe? Was this the first time that the police responded to that kind of a call, to that address? Why is it that people are calling me, telling me that they know for a fact that there's an open case against her? What, do you think that they're just people trying to start trouble or something? Do you think that they're people who are just making stories up? Then why are there multiple people saying exactly the same things? Here's the thing that really gets my goat about this case. There are so many of these fake profiles floating around the internet, copying and pasting the same exact comments. And there are so many weirdos making videos going on and on and on about how perfect she was. But do you hear any of them talking about Bella and Cece? Do you hear anybody Or do you see in any of those stupid comments anybody wanting to find out what really happened to Bella and Cece that night that they were murdered by one of their parents in what should have been the safety of their own home? Christopher Watt's wife wasn't perfect. She was human. She had flaws, as all humans do. In her lifetime, did people expect her to be perfect, as they appear to be expecting her to be after death? Or could it be that in her lifetime, they knew she wasn't, but they wanted to pretend she was instead of helping her? For all of you attackers who whine incessantly that we don't have compassion or sympathy or empathy or any of the other words you use depending on the scripts you're given. In fact, those of us who are discussing this case are the ones who do have empathy. We've never said that anybody deserved to be murdered or deserved to be killed or deserved whatever it was that happened that night behind closed doors. What we've said from the start is that if she needed help, she deserved to be helped. Stop expecting her to be perfect. Recognize that she was a human being. Recognize that she had needs that were evidently not being met. Be honest. Take off your blinders. Take a look at those text messages from the last few days of her life. She was miserable, and she was desperate, and she was broke. And the following day, the truth of their financial situation likely would have become known to her doormat husband. You know, you don't need to have motive proven in any trial. But when you're studying true crime cases online, we discuss motive. And I don't believe for 1 second that Christopher Watt's girlfriend was any motive in this case. In my opinion, I think his wife came home that night ready for a fight. And I think that she had already threatened him in the past that if he left her, he better watch out. I think she was setting him up from the get-go. And I don't think that he was the person who was being violent that night. Just look at him in all those videos. He's a frickin' doormat. He wasn't an abuser. He was the abused. And if he was female, then social media would be full of profiles saying that he was abused and that we need to hear what he has to say, and we need to study this case and learn what happened. But he's male, so instead we're supposed to pretend that he's just some kind of an evil monster who suddenly decided to murder his family. Sorry, I don't buy it. Why is his wife's quote-unquote friend asking the police officers if she's going to be arrested? Why? Why would she ask such a question? Did she give his wife some sort of drugs? Did she give a woman drugs who was texting how desperate she was? Why in the last year has there seemed to be such a disgusting attempt to prohibit anybody from discussing this case? Could it be that the attackers don't want us questioning whether or not Christopher Watt's wife may have been suicidal? Has anybody asked her friend why she thought she might be getting arrested? Has anybody asked what may have been in that makeup bag? Has anybody found any proof at all that Christopher Watt's wife ever had any physical illness? I know. I'm going to see the comments in the morning that are going to say, prove it. Prove it. You're lying. Prove it. Well, guess what? This is my opinion. So you go ahead and try to prove that my opinion isn't really my own. Dumbass.